Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I figured that today I would do a button and settings thing for ETS2 because we have one for ATS and it's doing really good on the channel. Matter of fact, it has over 3,000 views. Please don't let, let that go. I mean, hey, but it seems like some people are looking for settings and stuff for ETS2 because I know there's a lot of people that play ETS2. Matter of fact, there's probably way more people that play ETS2 than ATS. So we're going to do go through some settings and stuff for everybody that wants them. First of all, I use 1080 and then I have it set at 60 hertz because I mean everybody wants their stuff to be 60 hertz because it's the sweet spot or whatever. I know some people use 144 or more, but hey, you don't really need it, my opinion. I have VSync enabled because I stream, so matter of fact, you can find my stream on Twitch or here on YouTube, CTMAN1975, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. There you go. Now it's there. Um, FPS limit, I have it set to 60, just because. Just because. Okay, we have it scaling. I have it set to 400% because it makes it easier to read signs. Because I used to have it set to 100% and it was almost impossible to read signs. So I set it to 400% on. I watched a video and then I did it and it makes complete sense to do it. So I did it. I've anti-aliasing set to SMAA plus TAA. The anti-aliasing and that stuff like that is really a matter of preference. Set it to whatever you want. That's what I have mine set to. So I have texture quality set to high, anisotropic filter, and what that thing set to 8x. Map set to normal or checked. Um, reflection scale 200%. Reflection detail high. Matter of fact, all stuff with the mirrors is high. Oh, and ultra for distance. Like I said, that's all your settings are what looks good to you. So if you want to do this as like a jumping off point, that's probably what it'd be best. Just to find somebody in a video that you like to watch, use their settings as a jumping off point, and then tweak it as you go to what you like to look at. So there's no video that you ever watch should be the be all end all. So so I have checked interior shadows. I have checked because if you turn them off, I mean you do it. I don't know. That looks good to me, I guess. And then we have lighting. I have set to high. You can set to whatever you want, but traffic lights. If you have the traffic headlights turned off, it looks very odd, in my opinion, anyways. And then the secondary ones, if you turn the secondary off, you don't see brake lights, which you would see brake lights in real life, so that's why I have it turned on. Depth of field, whether you turn it on or off is your opinion. It's your preference or whatever you want to call it. Vegetation detail, I have it set to high. grass density I have set to high because if you disable it, it looks really odd, in my opinion anyways. There. I have it turned on. Weather quality, I have it set to ultra. If there is probably one thing that will test your graphics card, it will probably be the weather. If you get really hard rain, your frame rate will probably tank because of all the extra stuff that is having to be done on screen. I have pedestrians turned on. I mean, you're never going to get a pedestrian that crosses the street in front of you like you do in Farming Simulator, but it just makes it look more realistic when you have people walking on the side of the road or around town and whatnot. Okay, so this section here, I'm just going to skim through because your volume settings will be your own. And I actually have the UI and music volume turned off because after you hear it so many times, it just gets kind of annoying. And I have music turned off because of the fact that I stream and I don't want to get my stream flagged because of copyright infringement on people's music. So I don't have it turned on. Truck engine, I have at 41. Matter of fact, I have all of the truck volumes set to 41 because that's what sounds good to me. And with the soundproofing mod, your interior volume is going to sound different anyways because soundproofing makes it so that you almost hear nothing when you're inside the truck. I mean, you do hear a little bit. I mean, the truck that you're seeing reflected in the background has over 1,000 has like has 1,000 horsepower, and who wouldn't want to hear 1,000 horsepower engine, but you don't want to hear it really loud, and you want some sort of sound dampening. But I have interior volume set to 29%. That kind of helps with a little bit of the soundproofing. Radio volume I have turned off. You you can have this. I mean, if you like to hear the um you like to hear the wind noise, like when you have your window open in your car, how you hear that the wind kind of going past your window. That's basically what that does. I don't have that I can't have that turned on. Okay. Reverb effect of the cabin. I don't know if that really does anything. I haven't really tested it, so rumble strips, I have them turned on because when you hit those rumble strips on the sides of the road or you in between lanes in some areas, you hear that irritating sound, but it keeps you from crossing into areas where you don't really want to go to. So traffic volume, I have 31. Ambient sound volume, I have 29. World volume, I have at 28. Reverb effect in the environment, I have it turned on. Voice navigation, I don't use it, so I don't have any of that stuff set. Because honestly, if you use voice navigation occasionally, it will be really annoying because it sometimes it will tell you to turn and sometimes it won't, and it's just I just have it off. And we have CB. CB, the only time that this is going to come into play is when you have your convoy turned on. So if you don't use convoy, you don't need that section. So I have fatigue simulation turned off. Traffic fences turned on because you need something to spend your money on other than trucks and upgrades. Because once you have your truck upgraded, and if you're not into buying tons of vehicles to throw your money away on and have drivers that do various things, then turn that on and you'll have something to throw your money away on. I have my parking set to skilled, so that means you'll always have tobacco in your loads. And in road events, I have turned down to 8 and rain probability 8, because that way it doesn't rain too often. I mean, it's still going to rain. Like when you go into the UK, it'll probably rain a lot. I mean, it's the reputation that the UK has as being a rainy area. I don't know if that's true or not. Talk to people who know what they're talking about, not me. Show blockers, it just means that you're going to have those X's that show up when you can't go to someplace. That's all that means. I have real automatic turned on because I have a shifter with my G923. By the way, when we get to the controls, that part will mean something. Right now, it probably doesn't mean anything to you. So, truck stability, I have it set at 61%. Cabin stiffness, 50. Suspension stiffness, I have set to 50. I don't know if this stuff really has too much of an effect when in the game, but I'm sure people who drive truck in real life will probably have their settings a little bit different because they want their truck to feel like it does in real life. But hey, you in all honesty, if you want a realistic feel, go get your CDL Class A and do it for real. There is no simulation setting that is going to make it feel that real. I mean, yes, it costs quite a bit of money to get your CDL, but you know what? There is no other way to find out how good or bad it feels to you. And okay, well, let's get back to it. Brake intensity, I have it set to 100%. You kind of have it set to probably like yeah, to 150. I have mine set at 100. So air brake simulation, I have it turned off because I used to have to have my air brakes stop and let my air brakes fill up almost constantly. So I just turned it off. Realistic fuel consumption will basically bring your fuel economy down to more realistic. So instead of having your fuel go for really almost like forever, it seems like you'll be filling up more often. Uneven surface simulation. I guess I have mine set to 100, but like any setting in this game, your settings are probably going to change as you get more used to playing this game, or they may not. Who knows? Cabin accessories physics. I mean, if you do the SCS events where you get those things where they give you things to hang from your what would normally be your mirror, because I mean big rigs don't have that mirror in the center of the windshield like you do in a car, because you have your mirrors on the sides of the truck because you can actually see stuff. Because if you had a rear view mirror in the center of the windshield, the only thing you would see is the sleeper. So it wouldn't do you any good. Okay, assistance. I have adaptive cruise control set to 20 meters or 65 feet, depending on where you're from. cruise control 0 tolerance, and then cruise control grid step to 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour. I use kilometers in game because it's more realistic for most of Europe. And there are some parts like the UK, I think I've been told that they use miles per hour, but hey, you use whichever one you want. Lane assistance, I have it disabled because you constantly hear that little beep when you when you're changing lanes. I don't want to hear that. Blind spot simulate sensor, excuse me. I have it turned on. Rain sensor, I have it turned on. Automatic engine and electric start, I have that turned off because I don't want to have my engine start when because normally when you step on the gas and your truck's not on, it'll automatically start, and you don't want. Honestly, it doesn't happen in real life, so why would you want it to happen in a game or a simulator, whichever one you call it? Automatic headlights, I don't know why I have those on, but whatever. Um, Automatic blinker off. I mean, most vehicles have automatic canceling turn signals. You know how when you turn the wheel to a certain a certain degree, I think it's like 90 degrees, and then you make the turn and then you turn it back, they they turn off. I do not have automatic high beams on because I do not want them constantly turning on and off. I was I used to have it turned on and it was really annoying because every time a car would come by, they would turn down and then turn back up, turn down, turn up. It's like because it used to turn them back on after every car went by, or and it just got to be like almost like you were flashing some of your high beams instead of having them on and off. Automatic engine brake, I have it on. Automatic retire, I have it turned on. Hill assist on. I don't, for some reason, I don't have anti-lock brakes on. I don't know. Anti-lock brakes, basically, they keep your brakes from locking up when you slam on your brakes will just lock up and they won't really do what they're supposed to do. They won't bring your truck to a complete stop. But with anti-lock brakes, you tap the brake pedal to slow yourself down so that your brakes don't lock up. Because they're pretty much worthless if they lock up. Because that means your tire will just be it'll just be sliding instead of gripping the road. You know how when you see those, sometimes you see long skid marks. Sometimes it's because somebody slammed on their brakes, but other times it's because the person just mashed the gas and did a burnout. Uh, Automatic drop and lift axle. Oh, I don't have the automatic differential lock. I have it set to a button on my Stream Deck Mini, so I don't worry about that. Automatic drop and lift axles. You're probably not ever going to need to do that, but I have it set. I don't have anything set with the trailer coupling because if you have this set, you have to make sure your trailer is coupled. If you just leave it alone, you don't have to worry about it. I have trailer stability set to 100%. Probably gonna adjust that to like 60. Because I mean, if you have your truck set to 60, you would want your trailer probably set to the same thing. Because then they would act as more as one. I guess maybe not. I don't know. Blinker camera rotation. You should never ever have that checked because if you do, you turn your signal light on, and the camera goes that way, and it's like, oh my God, that thing is annoying because it's very hard to get your camera to adjust properly after that. Physics camera movement, I have it checked. I don't. It says when enabled, the interior camera reacts to vehicle movement. Okay, well, do with that what you will. Camera factor 100% interior camera horizon locking factor. Changes how much interior camera is allowed to roll based on vehicle movement. Okay. Auto camera centering, I have it disabled. Movement camera movement speed is instant. Okay. Interior camera zoom mode is on hold. Determines how interior zooms hold button to zoom temporarily or once toggled. Okay, well, I don't really do much. Well, actually, yeah, I do because this is where you would set your what you want it to feel like with your country. See, it says show truck speed, or you can hide it, or you can show car limit only. I don't know why you'd want to do that if you're driving a truck, but navigation speed warnings. Yeah, I have them on. Keep widgets hidden. Okay. Keeps all widgets hidden, whatever that means. You don't want to keep your mirrors hidden because I mean, if you're using them, you want to be able to see them, don't you? Okay. Show navigation light. I always have it on. You can turn it off if you want. If you want to be able to find your own way. Hmm. Okay. I have mine set to small roads. Okay, I didn't know that. Small roads basically means that you're not going to do a lot of highway driving. I haven't played this game in quite a while, so because the new version, I was waiting for Pro mods to be updated, so I haven't looked at my settings in a while. Um, Map alignment, I have north locked. I have my language set to English. You would have it set to whatever language you speak. Region presets continental Europe. Okay. Localized city and country names, yes. Show secondary name in map, yes. Well, both of them are checked anyways. Currency in euros. I mean, I don't know why you'd want it in anything else. You get paid in euros over there, so. Length units, kilometers, weight units, kilograms and tons. Temperature in Celsius. Consumption in kilometers per liter. Volume units, liters, PSI for pressure units, like your tires. I would show the cutscenes. Heavy cargo warning screen, I have that on. Automatic parking, no. I mean, if you're just starting out, honestly, I wouldn't suggest turning on automatic parking because you would pretty much be ruining the game for yourself because the hardest part of being a truck driver, I would say, is probably parking the truck. If you're going to make the game that easy where you're just going to have them park the truck for you, it, I mean, you just took away the best part of the game. Okay. If you're going to do convoy, you can check all these settings. I'm not going to really go into it because I think all of this stuff is probably already configured when you when it's on, so. Okay, well, this is where we're actually getting into wheel settings right now. Other ones are just game settings. This is more your wheel settings. I know it says that the wheel is missing because it's not, right now it's not plugged in. So I have my my G923 is the PlayStation version, so even if I did have my thing turned on, you probably wouldn't. Well, actually, the buttons don't show, the shape on the buttons don't show up anyways. But okay, I have my start and stop button to the side. I have it bound to the side button on my mouse, and then I have my actual engine start and stop button to the middle mouse button on my mouse, so that way I'm not touching it when I'm using my wheel. Parking brake, I have it set to space, but I have a hotkey on my Stream Deck Mini. You're gonna hear me mention my Stream Deck Mini a bunch when we get to this part. Anything that doesn't say joy missing in the primary thing is going to be bound to my Stream Deck Mini. So the W, normally W when you're using, if you're doing keyboard and mouse driving, W is your accelerator. But I have it set to wipers because honestly, it makes sense to me, but it may not make sense to you. Because normally, I think your wipers are set to like P or something, which makes literally no sense at all. Okay, my left turn signal is actually I use my left shift paddle for my left turn. I use the right paddle for the right turn. Light mode, I have I think it's, oh, X I have for my light modes. I have square for my high beams, circle for my beacons, and triangle for my four-way flashers or your hazards. Horn, I have it set to R2 because that's what it is on my wheel, and I don't have light horn on my wheel. I just leave it at J because I don't use it. Or if you want to flash somebody your high beams, you just push the high beam button. It pretty much does the same thing as the light horn. And air horn, I don't. Oh, actually, horn. Yeah, that's right. We said horn was R2. Um, beacon, like I said, I have that set to circle on my um, wheel. Differential lock, I don't use it that often, but I do have it bound to my Stream Deck Mini. All these keys here are pretty much stock in your settings, so you can change it to whatever you want. Cruise control, I have it set to L2. Adaptive cruise control, I don't use it because it doesn't really, you don't really need it. Cruise control increase and decrease, I have it I have it set to the plus and minus button on the left side of the wheel. Cruise control resume, I have it set to the button in the middle of the dial on the wheel. I don't know exactly what number that is because it's not plugged in, so it doesn't tell you that. I don't use the shift up and down. I use it's automatic. I have mine set to automatic, so. Oh, and this is your air suspension right here. To air up your front suspension, I use the I have it set to the up arrow on the keyboard, but then it is set as a hotkey on my Stream Deck Mini. So you have up. I have my front suspension up, down. It's the up down arrows, and the rear suspension up. I have it set to left, and down I have set to right, and then I have the suspension reset set to the home key on my keyboard. That way I don't accidentally hit it. Trailer attach and detach is the PS share button on my wheel. Engine brake toggle. This is not the same as because with your the game when you first get it has B set to engine brake. It just turns it on. If you want your Jake brake to turn on when you take your foot off the gas, then you want it set to engine brake toggle, not engine brake. It also means that you can have a button and it will turn them on and off so that when you let off the gas, you won't hear the engine brake. I don't use the increase and decrease of the retarder. I don't really know how to adjust it, so I just leave it alone. Okay, so another thing here, the windows, if you want to roll up and down your windows in your truck, you have to bind them to whatever key you want. They don't come bound to anything because it was a really late addition in the game. It's only been in there for a few years, and you can actually roll them up and down. And I have mine set to the D-pad, and I think the right window is set to left and right, I believe, and the left window is set to up and down on the D-pad. Is that cross thing that, or the cross on the left side of your wheel? Okay, I still have I. I just leave I on the keyboard. I don't have it a hotkey for it anywhere. Because I don't touch it that often, so I don't even bother. I didn't bother doing anything with it. This I have not touched, so it will pretty much be the same for you as it is for me. I don't use the assistants. The only thing I have bound to my Stream Deck Mini for cameras is 1 and 2 because that's what I use the most. I don't use any of the other camera angles really at all. This, if you want to walk around the outside of your truck, you can, but you'll have to click on it in the game to get out of the truck, and then you can use the WASD and shift and control. Because I mean, for people who if you want to like inspect your truck like you're supposed to in real life, you can do that in here now. But I don't really do that, so I don't worry about it too much. Photo mode, I don't use it. I just push F12 when I want to take a picture. I don't worry about photo mode. I don't use any of the quick actions, but this is all set to the this is F10 for screenshots. I use F12. I don't know what the difference is, but I think F12 is what Steam uses for screenshots. So it may or may not work for you. Okay, so tab, not tab, yeah. Overlay action is tab, but chat activation, that will just activate chat like if you're going to type on the keyboard. Quick replies, that is pretty much self-explanatory. Push to talk, I have that set to the R3 button on my wheel. R3, if you're playing on a controller, R3 is when you push down on the right joystick on your controller. But it's an actual button on your wheel. They don't have the joysticks on there. Okay, I don't use head tracking, so I'm not even going to go over that. Okay, controls. Since I use keyboard and the G923 for wheel for PlayStation and PC. Like I was saying earlier, I use real automatic economy mode because all of this stuff here would be set if you're going to use a mouse and keyboard to drive, and of course it says controller type wheel. Steering sensitivity, that is all stock. I have not changed anything. And force feedback is pretty much all that is almost all stock settings. I mean, you can look at yours and compare them to mine if you want, but this right here will pretty much determine what your thing feels like. But see, you can't. This is not adjustable. I guess probably when your wheel's not plugged in, so you have to plug your wheel in to get that. Steering axle says it's missing. Basically, this is going to be your wheel movement, and accelerator obviously is going to be your accelerator pedal and your brake and your clutch if you have one. If you're using the shifter as a 6-speed shifter or 18 or 13 or 10, the one thing that you'll have to have in order to use the shifter as a really a good like a 18-wheeler type shifter is that you'll have to get an accessory for that. Okay, I this is set, but I don't use them, so um, the automatic gearbox to drive is what would normally be third, which is straight ahead, and then reverse is straight back into fourth. That's what it would normally be on your controller, on your shifter, excuse me. Okay, well that is pretty much everything that all the settings that I use. I know this video is quite long, but I went through all of the settings that I use and explained some of the stuff that I felt needed to be explained. And I hope if you're just getting started in playing ETS2, I hope you continue with it. And if any of these settings helped you, please come into the stream and tell me so, or leave a comment below the video. And until the next video, happy trucking, and hope to see you on the road, either in Convoy or maybe on Truckers MP if I happen to get back on there. Once again, thank you for watching. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.